Hi everybody, I'm going to read to you a couple more chapters today from our story, Eerie Elementary School Freezes Over by Jack Chabert. We're on chapter 9 called Heat Race. There's a picture. I'll show you the picture. And let's see what Lucy, Antonio, and Sam have in store for them today. Sam, Lucy, and Antonio raced toward the teacher's lounge. They were making good time. Not much farther, Sam called out. As they passed the principal's office, all three friends slipped at once. The floor had become one long sheet of ice. They slid the rest of the way there. Sam got there first. He grabbed the teacher's lounge doorknob and pulled himself up. Lucy and Antonio were close behind. "We made it," Sam said, smiling. "I cannot believe we're going in here," Antonio said. "It's like a secret world." They opened the door and looked around. The teacher's lounge was dull, nothing but newspapers, mugs, and uneaten snacks. "Well, this is disappointing," Lucy said. "This is the most boring secret world ever." But then the friends were disappointed for a different reason. They spotted the thermostat. It was trapped behind a wall of ice. "Oh no," Lucy exclaimed. "Look how thick that ice is," Antonio said. "And it's only here," Sam said, as he looked around the room. "Orson put his ice wall here to stop us from touching the thermostat." Antonio pounded his fists again against the ice, but it was useless. No amount of salt would help. The ice was too thick. It would take 200 forks and 200 hammers to break through this, Sam thought. They could see the thermostat through the ice. It showed the current temperature, 18 degrees and falling fast. Here's the teacher's lounge. And there's the thermostat. "There must be another way," Antonio said. "Look through Orson's notes again. Hurry." Lucy quickly scrolled through Antonio's photos. Sam and Antonio peered over her shoulder. They read as fast as they could, looking for anything that might help. Antonio shouted, "There, the page about weather experiments." Then Antonio read Orson Eerie's words aloud. "My plan will work so long as no one finds the hidden switch." "A hidden switch," Sam said. Suddenly the walls trembled and swayed and the floor quaked. Antonio gulped. "I think we're on the right track." "Where could it be? We need to find that switch," cried Sam. "Let's check the blueprints," Lucy said. She pulled her binder from her backpack. "I remember seeing something about a switch." She slipped through the pages. "There," Lucy said. She jabbed her finger at the drawing labeled switch. The friends leaned in and peered at the blueprints. At once they exclaimed, "It's in our classroom." "Ugh, and that's all the way across the school," Antonio added. "We'll never make it in time. The hallways are solid ice." Sam's face lit up. He grinned as he slipped off his backpack. "I know exactly how we'll get there." On Thin Ice, chapter 10. You can see what he's planning right there. Sam pulled his ice skates out of his backpack and slipped his feet inside. "It's simple. I'll skate down the hall," Sam said, "and I'll pull you guys behind me." "What?" Antonio exclaimed. "How are you going to pull us?" Sam whipped his orange hall monitor sash out of his backpack. "With this." Antonio and Lucy frowned nervously, but there was no time to argue. Sam laced up his skates. Then Lucy and Antonio tied the sash to Sam's backpack. Lucy glanced back at the thermostat. "Only 4 degrees to go until Orson shows up," she said. "Then I'll bet I'd better skate fast," Sam said. He flung the door open. Lucy and Antonio each stood upright behind Sam. With their sneakers flat on the ice, they gripped the sash. "Hold on tight," Sam yelled. Then he skated out into the hall as hard and as fast as he could, pulling them. Sam worked up speed, and soon the three friends were zooming down the halls. Lucy and Antonio's heels skimmed along the ice's surface. The storm blew in through the open windows. Wind howled and snow swirled around Sam as he skated. Huge snow piles had formed along the sides of the halls. Sam kept his head down, skating as fast as he could. Oh my gosh, he was going so fast. And there he's pulling Antonio and Lucy. Antonio shouted as he glanced to at the floor. Sam? Those snow piles look alive." "Antonio's right," Lucy cried. "Watch out." Horrifying snow arms grew from the piles. Long, frosty fingers reached for Sam. Sam skated faster, steering into the center of the hall. Antonio and Lucy swung wildly as the monstrous hands clawed at them. Finally, Antonio shouted, "I can see our classroom. When I slow down, grab the door," Sam called out. He turned his heels and skidded to a stop. Lucy and Antonio reached out, grabbed the doorframe, and kapow! The three friends crashed into each other and tumbled to the floor. But they had made it. Together, they crawled across the ice into their classroom, the room that held the secret switch that could stop Orson Eerie. And if you'll remember, when you see a word that describes a sound such as kapow, that's called an onomatopoeia. Chapter 11, A Puzzle to Solve. Sam looked around the classroom. Orson hid the switch somewhere in here, he said. We just have to find it. We sit in here every day, Antonio said. Wouldn't we have seen it before? Think of it like a video game puzzle, Lucy said. Okay, but how do we solve it, Antonio asked. Outside, the wind howled. Water rained down from the sprinklers in the ceiling, and the friends shivered. Suddenly, Lucy remembered something. She pulled out the binder and started flipping pages. The ink on the pages began to run. Look, she said. Lucy pointed to a photo of Orson Eerie. He was standing in their classroom almost 100 years ago. Great, a creepy old photo of Orson, Antonio said. How does that help us? Orson hid the switch when he first designed the school, Lucy exclaimed, so we know the switch has been there since the beginning. That means we need to search the room for something that hasn't changed since the photo was taken. Whatever still looks the same, that's probably where the switch is hidden. Sam nodded. If this is like the video game puzzle, then there needed to be a hint to take them to the next level. They looked at the photo and then they looked at the room. So here's a photo of Orson Eerie in the room 100 years ago. And here is the room now. Lucy checked the thermostat. Hurry, guys, she said. Only 3 degrees left. Despite the cold, Sam could feel sweat pouring off his forehead. His eyes focused on the room. Everything was different than it had been all those years ago. Different desks, different lights, different posters on the walls. Then he saw it. He couldn't believe it. The hiding spot had been in front of them all along. There's a smile on his face because he's discovered the hiding spot. Chapter 12, Just in Time. Sam was sure he had just solved the puzzle. A huge smile spread across his face and he exclaimed, I think the switch is hidden behind the one thing we look at every day, sometimes like 100 times a day. Lucy and Antonio's eyes darted to the wall. The clock. I never thought of that. Many things in the classroom had changed over the years, but the clock had not. It hung high on the wall behind Miss Gringer's desk. Only 2 degrees left, Lucy shouted from over by the thermometer. Time was running out. I've got this one, Antonio said as he scrambled up onto the desk. Papers fell to the water-soaked floor. If Miss Gringer saw you climbing on her desk, she'd feed you to Orson Eerie herself, said Lucy. Antonio jumped from the desk to the bookshelf behind it. From there, he could reach the clock. He grabbed hold of it, and it was ice cold. Only 1 degree left, Lucy announced. Hurry, Antonio, yelled Sam. The clock was stuck tight to the wall. Antonio tugged and tugged and tugged. Then, crack. The clock came free. It smashed down to the snow-covered floor. Leaning forward, Antonio peeked through the hole that the clock had kept hidden. I see a switch, Antonio said. Pull it, Sam shouted. We're almost out of time. Antonio reached in and pulled the switch. Nothing happened. Lucy looked around. Why isn't anything? Hiss! The radiator shrieked. The walls rumbled. Heat began to flood the room. We did it! The heat is back on, Sam exclaimed. It already feels warmer, Lucy said. Antonio jumped down from the desk. We stopped Orson Eerie from coming. The 3 friends were about to high-five when they heard a loud bang. Sam teetered toward the door. He looked out into the hallway just in time to see the front doors fly open. A dark cloud of snow and rain and hail came spinning into the hall. Sam saw that the storm was different. He gasped. It's Orson Eerie, he said. He's an icy, monstrous tornado. This is Antonio switching the switch, and there's the kids after that. And that's the end of our chapter. The next chapter is called A Wall of Winter. And let me just show you the picture. Oh, there's the tornado. really getting crazy now. I think Orson's kind of mad that they found that switch. So hopefully you enjoyed those chapters, and I will see you next time for chapter 14. And let's see, or chapter 13, sorry, The Wall of Winter. And we'll continue to read. We're almost finished with the book. We have a couple more chapters, so maybe we'll finish it next time. See you then.